I hear.
I just went to lunch with
Thanks for
make sure you're going to I know you're
Very uncommittal.
I was in court the other day, and somebody was behind me. The agents were remaining, and their phone was playing. And I was like, sat here, still, with my hands up, so the judge would see what I'm doing.
I was driving over. Traffic cutting crazy though. Coming down, it's like they have a bridge thing, and it shuts you down to one lane.
I mean, it's just down the road. It's kind of, you know, you must know what they're doing. And they would love.
Not that we enforce it like that, but it's what kind of a spot it is. It's a more cheap director relationship.
Yeah. When I say I work there, you know, I don't care.
I was here early, plenty of time, and all that. No.
It always has to be plans and all that stuff.
We got here plenty of time, we'll work out. Nope. But
He doesn't get that. I'm sure we have our fingers crossed. Those make it work. When it's two people out of both, I'm like, okay.
It's still good. It's still good. Stand back.
Not everywhere.
I know. Where you from?
They kind of got you. It's like, man, it's harder to stay.
like 25. That's what I'm working
Yeah. So it makes it a little comfort, though, right? Like a little bit of anxiety, like, but you got to really.
Yeah. And I come from there, you know, that's what I
The council, where she was, like Kristen, like, so, I'm not talking about people, I'm talking about teamwork.
No.
Arkansas is 2 years retired.
Oh, no, I
Don't do it. She did it. She was there 2 years.
That's home. They don't know all the information. You cannot do that. We talked, I think about it in the She's getting ready to play across the wall. Sunday. It was going back and forth. I think Walker was like the fourth. Oh, wow. But, you know, he brings in a lot of yeah, and they look like they never get caught.
That's a sport you got to have. Any sport you got to on the rise.
I didn't see that.
Yeah, so this week.
So how's your daughter?
She's awesome. She's on United.
Okay. Since Kenny play something.
Played against each other. They played against each other when they won state and we did not. We both had really good teams, and they won state. Beat us 2 weeks ago.
Since United, you know, they had that go shoot but that has seen a lot of
the new ECW player. Yeah. So we have so I tell you what that
oh yeah. Oh yeah. CC. That's Gerald Man. That's who we always met. We met Gerald Man and T.O. That's why
for the playoff. And he's on the business side. And I don't even know his daughter playing. I'm like, look at here, what are you doing? That's my daughter. So I'm glad she's doing
Yeah,
that.
she's doing good. Yeah, she's doing good. She's really good. Man, so she got a lot of trouble.
You know how it is. Like, put a team above themselves, work ethic, you know, like,
They got, I just hired so last year. So she was actually grad school. Her and her friends. All were together. So we do a lot of I always love what I'm doing. But
It's true.
showing up. You don't, there's problems. You know, like, kind of persevere, failure, success.
How are you ready?
yeah.
We generally get what we want. We're kind of honest with what the staff wants.
Yeah.
But, you know.
He's here, we might as well go down and see, meet him just
Yeah, they got one car, man. You've been at the job for 3 years.
It feels like it.
It do feel like it. It's been, it actually be a year. Yeah. It actually be a year next month.
Not bad.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
You open CIs. You open CIs like I've never seen. I was that good. I saw my whole career.
He's trying to show me that. I said, man, it looks good.
Keep notes on my phone.
Show you that.
Yeah, I'm trying to do that too myself. Kids are doing those.
Anybody else need anything? Y'all good?
Yeah, it was good. It was, I went like from there, went over to Savannah, picked up the clips. Savannah, it was,
Yeah.
Charleston, Savannah. So I went over, it was good. But it was fun to see some of those guys, man. Hold on. It's our future, though, right?
Like I said, I walked in, I'm like, I'm getting used to this stuff.
Was it, I don't need one. I mean, there was some form of illustrators and stuff. I was impressed. I don't know. They closed the ball down. 50% was the reason why. They don't stay there until it closes. Nothing changes. Retirement. They pay you whatever they're gonna get. I was laughing at that.
Sheriff's calling all kinds of. Yeah. We work. We let love down here, so.
Oh, they moved and running the streets. store. Oh, no, I'm not going to that. EDC or career board. I know. Yeah, they moved it to the day after.
I know.
So I guess they would have the first time after that.
So once you get something like
It's the week of
So you said it's on election.
Yeah, well, there's their commanders who will be willing to, you have already go get them.
Okay.
They might get like,
Yeah, we'll.
task force commanders and stuff. They do a great job.
You went here? Must have been somebody else down there.
No, we had an engagement.
October 4th, if I don't go. Luckily, I'm on it.
Yeah, she left us for another section. So I came out of headquarters back into the field, and she went into headquarters.
But I'll have the new person over there. They were very
Yeah,
She was amazing. Yeah, she was amazing. I was going to tell you that after, but she did a
I
great
got the
job.
list. But
Really represented.
ones that I wish went on it. Administrative, like the administrative trying to go over all our people. Cases here, like making sure they land us fine. There's no way. She's terrible. I got the females on that. Oh, yeah. They know that was, how I was supposed to make a pitch. She's got to be right. Yeah. Everybody says there's that's a good way to tell them. Sarah is probably. Yeah, it looks like everybody's small.
I call Eric from
State laws and the state, we're all talking about resources. Just resources in general. We have goal is, and you're gonna make it on the big start.
Somebody put the car seat in the car, bring it out on
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us here today. It is an honor to have Attorney General Merrick Garland with us in the District of South Carolina. And I also want to thank all of our federal, state, and local law enforcement partners that are here today for being with us, from the upstate to the low country, to the Midlands, to the PD. The partnerships of the folks around this table and across our state are so invaluable and absolutely crucial to our ability to meet our mission to uphold the rule of law, keep our country safe, and protect civil rights. And recognizing that Attorney General Garland has been a leader in fostering that type of collaboration, both within the department and outside it. He has made violent crime a priority for us and supported our efforts here in addressing gun violence and stemming the flow of illegal firearms and drugs making their way into our communities. And he's been very clear about the unique role of the department in protecting civil rights and supported our efforts on that front as well. And so we are so honored to have him here in the district. As you all know, Attorney General Garland has quite an illustrious career in public service, but I always like to point out that he knows what it is to be a line prosecutor, having served as an AUSA, and I think that is invaluable experience, and we are so honored to have him. So with that, I'll give you our United States Attorney, Merrick Garland.
Thanks, Adair. Thanks for that overly generous introduction. I appreciate it very much. Before we get started with our meeting, I wanted to address a major development that took place late yesterday. The Justice Department secured a federal indictment of Ryan Ruth, charging him with attempting to assassinate former President Donald Trump. Those new charges, returned by the grand jury, build on the firearms felony charges that we filed last week, which permitted the defendant's arrest and detention while our investigation was ongoing. Immediately after the assassination attempt on September 15th, I made clear that the Justice Department would bring every available resource to bear in this investigation. Over the past 11 days, the Department has done just that. As alleged in the indictment and as reflected in court documents that were filed in this case, evidence uncovered in the investigation sheds new light on the defendant's activities in the month before the attempted assassination, and it supports the charge of attempted assassination. This evidence includes a handwritten list seized from the defendant's car, cataloging the dates and venues of the former president's past and expected appearances. It includes a box that the defendant left with a witness several months ago, which contained a handwritten letter addressed to, quote, the world, stating, quote, this was an assassination attempt on Donald Trump, but I failed you. And it includes cell site records indicating that on multiple days and times in the weeks leading up to the assassination attempt, the defendant was repeatedly in the immediate vicinity of the Trump International Golf Course and of the former president's residence at Mar-a-Lago. This investigation is still in its early stages. It remains active and ongoing. And as in all cases, the allegations we make in our filings are just that until we prove them in court beyond a reasonable doubt. The Justice Department is committed to using the full force of our authorities to thoroughly investigate every lead and to bring accountability in this matter. Our nation has now experienced 2 assassination attempts against the former president in just the last few months. That is abhorrent. Violence and threats of violence targeting public officials are dangerous to the individuals and their families and to the safety of those who protect them. They are dangerous to everything this country stands for. The Justice Department will not tolerate violence that strikes at the heart of our democracy. We will find and hold accountable those who perpetrate it. This kind of activity must stop. Now, I want to turn to the topic of today's meeting, the work of this office and of the law enforcement partners around this table. In just a few moments, U.S. Attorney Boroughs and I will meet with our federal, state, and local law enforcement partners about their work to keep communities across South Carolina safe. I'm grateful for the chance to thank our partners today in person for this extraordinary, difficult, and dangerous work which they do to protect the people of South Carolina. I'm also grateful to have the chance to recognize the public servants of this office for their extraordinary work. The U.S. Attorney's Office is the face of the Justice Department here in South Carolina. When people across the state look to see what the department stands for, they look to this U.S. Attorney's Office. I have been consistently impressed with the work you do and with how hard everyone in this office works with the way you do this work. That work, together with the work of our federal and state and local partners, is making a difference. 3.5 years ago, the Justice Department launched an ambitious strategy to combat violent crime. That strategy is rooted in exactly the kind of partnerships you see reflected in this room today. And today we are seeing the results. According to the South Carolina State Law Enforcement Division, South Carolina's violent crime rate decreased by 5.8% from 2022 to 2023, making 2023 the 3rd consecutive year of declines. That included a 5.9% decrease in the murder rate. We have also seen encouraging trends on the national level. Just earlier this week, the FBI released a report indicating that we saw an 11.6% drop in homicides last year and one of the lowest violent crime rates in 50 years. Recent data indicates that this trend is continuing. Just earlier this month, the Justice Department's Violent Crime Reduction Steering Committee announced new data from across 88 cities, which indicates that violent crime has continued to decline considerably in 2024. That included a further 16.9% drop in murders. But we know that progress in many communities is still uneven. And of course, there is no level of violent crime that is acceptable. That is why the Justice Department is continuing to work with our partners here in South Carolina and across the country to combat violent crime, drug trafficking, and gang violence. For example, on a single day earlier this month, this office announced 3 significant developments in our work to combat drug trafficking and the fentanyl crisis. First, in partnership with ATF, Homeland Security, the U.S. Postal Inspection Service, and local law enforcement in Cherokee, Spartanburg, and Greenville counties, the office secured guilty pleas from 6 members of a methamphetamine trafficking ring responsible for distributing at least 250 50 kilograms of meth in the upstate. Second, together with ATF, DEA, and the Richland County Sheriff's Department, the office secured a 10-year and a 7-year prison sentence, respectively, for 2 individuals on fentanyl and gun trafficking charges. Third, together with DEA and the Richland County Sheriff's Department, this office secured a 10-year prison sentence for a man who provided a syringe loaded with drugs, including fentanyl, to a victim who later died of fentanyl poisoning. And just last month, the office worked with federal law enforcement partners as well as with law enforcement in Spartanburg, Greenville, and Anderson counties to secure a 23-year prison sentence for a cocaine and meth dealer. The dealer also conscripted others to buy guns for him so he could modify them into fully automatic weapons. He sold some of the machine guns, and he kept at least one of them with him during his drug deals. This spring, this office, in partnership with federal law enforcement, the Duncan Police Department, and several Canadian police law enforcement agencies, secured sentences for 3 international gun traffickers. As part of that scheme, 2 of the defendants recruited straw purchasers to buy guns on their behalf and then smuggle them into Canada. Finally, earlier this year, this office announced the results of a month-long investigation conducted in partnership with 19 federal, state, and local law enforcement public safety agencies. That investigation resulted in charges against 13 defendants, seizure of multiple firearms, ammunition, and drugs, including fentanyl. That investigation came after the FBI identified communities in Myrtle Beach that were experienced high levels of gang and narcotics-related violence. In response, federal, state, and local law enforcement concentrated their resources and personnel in those efforts and were successful in their investigations and prosecutions. In addition to using our investigative and prosecutorial resources to protect communities here in South Carolina, we are also committed to using our grant-making capabilities to invest in public service. For example, today the department is awarding $3 million in funding to the National Criminal History Improvement Program, which provides funding to state and localities to improve the quality, timeliness, and immediate accessibility of criminal history records and related information. This grant is part of more than $36 million that the Justice Department is awarding to organizations and government agencies in South Carolina this month to support law enforcement activities and community initiatives. These funds will, among other things, help law enforcement agencies in South Carolina hire more officers, prevent and combat violent crime, and improve services for survivors of domestic and dating violence, sexual assault, stalking, and other crimes. We remain committed to providing our law enforcement and community partners with the resources that they need to protect the people and communities of this state. The examples I have just shared are really just a snapshot of the work this office is doing every day to protect people in the state and to fulfill the Justice Department's mission to keep our country and our communities safe, to protect civil rights, and to uphold the rule of law. I'm very proud of the public servants that make up this office. I am equally proud of the relationships they have nurtured with the law enforcement agencies around this table, who are indeed the Justice Department's indispensable partners. I look forward to our meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.